All right, hello everyone. This is Hunter Doyle. I'm here with Bryce Jarvis today, right-handed pitcher from Duke. We're on the take today. MLB.com's 25th ranked prospect heading into the draft this year. Really dominant at Duke over his whole career, 13-4 in 48 appearances, 2.81 ERA, 201 strikeouts to just 20 or 61 walks, and the .190 batting average against. I don't know if you could have showed anything else at Duke this year. Really impressed by everything I watched, all your film, all your numbers, and just your competitive nature. So thank you so much for being with us, man, and for this opportunity, and just kind of tell everyone how you're doing and how quarantine's been going, man.
Yeah, I mean, things are about as well as they can be. I'm actually down in Boca Raton, Florida, down at Michael Rothenberg, our Duke's catcher's family's house. There's five, six actually. Six of the Duke guys are down here with me, and we're hanging out, training, throwing, lifting, trying to keep a similar schedule as we could to how things were at school, and just keep each other motivated and stay ready for the draft.
Definitely, man. That's great to hear. I love to hear that you guys are all sticking together through this. So tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of your background and journey getting to this point, and just like how you got into baseball as a kid.
Sure. So growing up, baseball has always been a big part of my life. My dad played in the big leagues for 16 years, 10 different teams. Kind of growing up, my spring breaks were spent at spring trainings watching him play, and my summers were also spent following him around to big league parks, watching him play, hanging out in the clubhouses and shagging BP on the field. And those are some of the best memories I have growing up, even to this day. um, been playing baseball myself as long as I can remember. My dad has always been kind of my biggest mentor and coach. Definitely attribute a lot of the success I've had to this point to his teaching and guidance growing up. Um, Came into Duke as a two-way player. I played a lot of shortstop in high school, and really enjoyed kind of getting to play both. And if one wasn't going well on any given day, I could go to the other and take my mind off of it. But after getting to Duke, it became clear that my highest ceiling was going to be on the mound, and shifted to being a pitcher only. And my freshman year was mainly out of the pen as kind of a long relief guy. Our starters didn't go very deep in the game, so it was kind of my job to come in that fourth or fifth inning range and take the game to hand it off to our closer. And ended up getting some really good work as a freshman in some big spots, weekend games, regionals, super regionals. Actually got one of my first few starts in the super regional at Texas Tech, and kind of knew that was something that I wanted to work towards, and ended up getting the ball on the weekend my sophomore year, and settled into a starter's role. And I was a draft eligible sophomore last year, and kind of got to go through that experience in kind of a unique way, and feel that out. And was really on the fence whether or not I was going to leave school and start my professional career, or come back. And got picked late by the Yankees, and talked through the decision with my advisor and my parents and coaches, and kind of came up with a plan that was geared towards making as many improvements as I could for this year, and putting myself in the best position to go as high as I could. And that consisted of spending time both in Seattle at Driveline, working with their pitch design coaches, and kind of getting on their motion capture technology, and talking through kind of the metrics of each one of my pitches and how they work together, and how they could work better. Also with kind of any inefficiencies they noticed in my delivery to clean everything up. And then also spending pretty much the whole summer up in Massachusetts at Eric Cressy's strength facility, with the goal of just putting on as much weight as I could and adding strength. And I think those two things kind of culminated in the improvements I made last fall. My velo took 3 or 4 miles an hour of an uptick. All my stuff was playing up. I added a curveball to my arsenal, and I think all those improvements were pretty pivotal and integral to the successes I had at the short season we had in the spring.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, that's great to hear. You've accomplished a lot, and it's really cool to hear like where that success has just been derived from, and everyone who's really been helping you. So, so kind of going back to coming out of high school. I mean, even for me, I'm not even a student athlete. Decision process is tough. I know, like for me in 8th grade, Duke was like my dream school, and then I kind of like moved on to what was the best fit for me in high school. But talk to us a little bit about like your decision process and what really stood out about Duke, and just kind of how you came to that decision.
Sure. Growing up in high school and middle school, academics were a big part of my life. I definitely wanted to be as diverse a person as I could be, and kind of gravitated more towards the math and science realm, and specifically physics in high school, and was a really big fan of just physics in general. Took all the classes I could, and um, in looking at schools for college, definitely wanted to go somewhere with a good engineering program, because that was one of the majors I was looking at. And Duke fit that category for sure, but also I was looking at places that could be a good stage to play college baseball on. And looked at places like Georgia Tech and Wake Forest and UVA, Stanford. And Duke was interesting because out of all the schools, it was one of the only ones that hadn't had kind of the storied baseball success in previous years. But just talking with the coaches and talking with the current players at that time, it was pretty clear that they were focused on shifting the culture of the program towards some of the things that the other successful programs are doing. And I think that really came to light my freshman year, making it to the first super regional in over 50 years, and then backing that up with another super regional my sophomore year, and then being on track to go to the College World Series this year. I think just is a testimony to all the work that people put in before me, and also the work that my class and the classes around mine put in to kind of elevate Duke's program to a new level.
Yeah, definitely. And you talked a little bit about being a student athlete and just like enjoying physics classes. And that's awesome because we don't usually get to hear that side about you guys, always on the field, and just like things are really busy. So talk to us a little bit about the importance of being a student athlete in your personal life, and just kind of like where that came from.
Yeah, I think my parents definitely instilled that in me from a young age, and I think it helps a lot. Being a student off the field helps you be a student on the field. These days, a lot of people are really focused on baseball analytics, and especially pitching has come a long way in the last several years with TrackMan data and Rapsodo, Edgertronic, all that stuff. You have to be fluent in if you want to be able to develop with the best players in the game. And I think being such a devoted student in the classroom has definitely helped me be able to understand all the numbers that get spit out from one pitch. You have to break everything down and understand things on a numbers level, but also be able to translate that to how everything feels when you're on the mound. So I think being able to use the things I've learned in the classroom has definitely helped me, take jumps in my pitching ability.
Definitely. And we're a great answer too. Like we're in a different era of baseball. I feel like the game has changed just from our childhood to now a lot with how people prepare for games. So I love that answer, man. Great stuff. So, shifting gears a little bit, I mean, this has been a tough time for everyone with quarantine. You guys got your season cut short. All the guys at my college got their season cut short. I mean, it's been tough. So it's been a time of adversity for everyone. So just kind of walk us through like times of adversity in your life or in your baseball career that you've had to overcome, and just how you've approached all of those situations.
Yeah, I mean, I've been definitely fortunate to have a pretty easygoing life to this point. But one thing that comes to mind is towards the end of the season last year, ended up contracting mono and was out off the team for um, about 2 weeks and had to sit out and be in my dorm room for a while. And it was towards the end of the season, so knew that coming back from it was going to be difficult. Didn't have a whole lot of time before we started getting into ACCs and the postseason, but definitely grinding and working to put the weight on that I lost during that time, and catch back up with my throwing and everything, and putting myself in a spot to help our team, back half of the season, and coming in and starting the regional in West Virginia against the regional host, and then pitching the super against Vandy, throwing as well as I had the whole season. I think, it's just something that I had to work through and put in the work to get back to where I needed to be.
Yeah, man. Respect to you. I mean, mono is really tough. It takes a while to like fully recover from it. So respect to getting back so quickly, just like getting through that time, man. So you talked a lot about like analytics and approaching each hitter, and just like like how to fix your delivery to make it like perfect, and just different with each pitch too. So talk to us a little bit about your pitch arsenal, and like if you have like a favorite pitch from your pitch arsenal right now, and um, just kind of how you approach each hitter every day.
Yeah, so this year I've been going with a four-pitch mix: fastball, curveball, changeup, slider. Coming out of high school, I threw mainly fastball, curveball, changeup, and then starting my freshman year, kind of with the long relief role that I had, made more sense to go with fastball, slider, changeup, and put the curveball on the shelf a little bit, um, and ended up carrying that into my sophomore year. But going into this year, bringing the curveball back was definitely something that I wanted to do, and focused on in the fall and some of the bullpens and stuff. And then I think my favorite pitch has always been my changeup. Going back to when I first started pitching, everyone says like want to hold off on learning a breaking ball as late as possible to kind of protect your arm. And luckily, my dad was a pretty well informed pitching coach, and taught me a changeup from when I was super young. And it's something that I work into my catch play every day, whether or not I'm getting on the mound. And um, it's something you need to do if you want to have feel for a changeup. But I think a lot of people underestimate the power of a changeup, especially at the college level. A lot of hitters see breaking balls every day, but it's not every day you see a guy with a plus changeup, and it's definitely been a effective pitch for me, especially to righties. Right on right changeup. I don't think there's a better pitch to throw in the game of baseball. So that's definitely something that I gravitate towards.
And you got, I mean, going along with just having a great pitch arsenal, you got to be able to mentally prepare every day. I mean, these hitters are studying like your tendencies too, and yet you've still been able to have success. So talk to us a little bit about your mental preparation each day, because baseball is a very mental game at the end of the day, compared to a lot of other sports where, not that it's not mental, but baseball, there's so much involved in each, like some people like to criticize, oh, it's a slow game, but like that's because there's so much mental preparation that's involved. So talk to us a little bit about your mental preparation each day, and just like approaching each hitter a little bit.
For sure. For me, I think one of the biggest things is, treating every hitter with the same level of respect, and no matter who it is in the box, no one hitter is more important or easier or harder to get out than another. I think, I even break it down on a pitch by pitch basis. I think, taking things one pitch at a time is kind of my biggest motto on the mound. And if you throw a good pitch, being able to take away what made that a good pitch and then carrying that on to your next one. Or if you didn't throw such a good pitch, being able to flush it and feel the adjustment you need to make to go to the next one, and just kind of taking it one at a time, and not making any one pitch bigger than the next or the one before it. I think that's a big reason why I've been able to have success, especially in some of the bigger moments, is that, I just kind of treat everything the same, and not overhype or underhype any situation.
Yeah, and kind of going off of that, we just talked a lot about your style of play and your pitch arsenal and approaching hitters. So tell us, do you model your game after anyone or like really admire an MLB pitcher? And then is there like a toughest hitter you've faced in your career so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think I really admire the competitive spirit of guys like Max Scherzer and Zach Greinke. Those guys are big fireballs on the mound, and you know they they're really aggressive, and they want to let anyone get the best of them, and that's something I inject into my game. And I'm a pretty laid back guy off the field, and don't like to spend too many words, but once I get between the lines, it's on. It's me versus you in the box, and I'm going to do everything I can to win that battle.
Yeah, and that competitive spirit has really translated on the field with a lot of success. I mean, you talked a lot about the NCAA tournaments you guys have been in. You took home that Morgantown Regional MVP with, I think you have, I don't know, 0.6 ERA, which is just absurd. I mean, you took a big leap in the 2020 season too. I know you only got to play 4 games, which is unfortunate, but a 40 strikeout to 2 walk ratio is nuts. And that perfect game was absolutely insane, man. So kind of tell us about like what was a big part of that breakout year. You talked about drive line a lot, and like just kind of like talk to us about the perfect game too, and what was going through your head. Did you do anything different that day, or just kind of like normal everyday routine before pregame?
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes back to my in-game process. I like to kind of take everything the same no matter what, and having a routine that I stick to is one of the things that keeps me grounded for sure, and it keeps the level of consistency week in and week out. And didn't really do anything different pre-game before the Cornell game, but definitely felt good. I remember in my pregame bullpen kind of turning to our pitching coach and saying, everything feels like it's firing on all cylinders. And um, you know, starting pitchers are lucky to have 2 or 3 pitches working on any given day, but if you have all 4 working, you have a chance to do something special. And just kind of winning the game, trying to fill up the zone and get outs, and then looked up and hadn't allowed a base runner, and kind of used the momentum that I had to push me through the end of that game, and everything ended up going my way. It's no small feat, and I definitely couldn't have done it on my own. It took plays behind me, and definitely big defense out of our catcher Mike Rothenberg, and some good sticks and good frames, and definitely wasn't a solo effort there.
And is it true that you threw only 94 pitches that day?
Yeah,
Wow. I
yeah,
mean, 15 strikeouts in a perfect game, you would think your pitch count would probably be up to like, I don't know, 120 or something like that. But very impressive, man. Love to hear that. So talk to us about you're heading into the MLB draft now. Again, after last year getting drafted by the Yankees, like you said. So do you kind of see yourself as more of a starter now after you were kind of transitioning into that this year? I know you were a long reliever your freshman year. Or do you think like maybe you'll be used as a reliever or kind of a combination at first and then kind of see where things go?
No, I mean, I'm all in on being a starter at the next level. I don't have any doubt in my mind that I can do it. I think someone with 4 pitches like myself definitely profiles more as a starter. I put on weight and added strength, increasing my stamina and ability to hold my velocity late in games. I was still holding 94, 95 on my last fastballs of the perfect game, and my freshman and sophomore year, was increasing velos and hitting my highest velocities later in the season. So unfortunately didn't end up getting to make the gains that I usually do. But my bullpens down here during quarantine have been some of the hardest ones that I've had. I think the other day I hit a couple 97s and for the first time, and I'm trying to continue to put on strength and even take a couple more ticks in velo. So I think definitely being a starter at the next level is something that I want to do.
Yeah, and going along with that, I mean, it's going to be a big adjustment going into minor leagues. I mean, I know it's a little bit different than other sports like basketball and football where you just go right in. But I mean, I love baseball, and I love that you get that time to prep. So talk to us about next year. Is there like a biggest aspect of your game that you really want to improve upon, or kind of just like all around improve, or what's kind of your like big goals for next season?
Sure. I think the biggest thing transitioning from a college season to minor league and professional baseball in general is the shift from a 7-day schedule, throwing once a week on Fridays this year to a 5-day rotation is kind of the biggest focus of mine. I think one of the things that helps me stay grounded in my weekly routines this year was focusing on when felt best to get my lifts in, and how much I wanted to throw every day. And I think figuring out kind of those weekly routines or every 5-day routines at the next level is something that I'm going to have to play around with and tweak until it feels right. And then once I settle into those, I think, things will come a lot easier.
Mm-hmm. And as we mentioned, you're heading into the MLB draft process once again. So to all the teams out there, if they ask, what are we getting in Bryce Jarvis? What do you tell them?
I think, I'm definitely someone who can help a team's starting rotation, take the ball and go deep into games, come out with a lead or as close to it as I can. And, I think one of the biggest things that I bring to the table is, you kind of mentioned just my competitive spirit and, my willingness to stay in the fight and not give up no matter who's in the box. I think my work ethic off the field and some of the gains that I've taken over the last year is definitely a testament to how hard I'm willing to work. And, I'm not done making improvements. I don't think I ever will be. And I'm always striving to find the next thing that I can improve on and get better at to help me get outs. And so I think those are pretty valuable things for any team.
Yeah, great answer, man. I love to hear that. I love your mindset going into next season. So we're gonna wrap up with some get to know you questions real quick.
All right.
Yeah. So tell us what's your favorite ballpark that you've played in so far, and then one that you're most looking forward to playing in the future.
Ooh, that's a good question. Favorite ballpark that I played in so far, to me, this is kind of a cop-out answer. I really love the Durham Bulls Athletic Park, our home field at Duke. Definitely a park I've gotten comfortable playing in over the last 3 years. I think, I've been fortunate to have some good numbers in my college career, but I think my splits at home are even better than my overall splits. And it's just, cool dimensions, like cool atmosphere. You got the big blue monster in left, you got the bull over the left field wall. And I think it's just something that I'm really comfortable playing in. And then as far as the one I'm most looking forward to playing in, there's so many cool parks. I think it'd be really cool to play in Wrigley. Just kind of the history there, and you got the ivy on the walls and the old scoreboard out on the center. Definitely would be a cool experience.
Yeah, can't go wrong with Wrigley Field. Great answer. And I'm a Phillies fan. I'm from Philly, so we love an athlete who can play well at home. So be a perfect fit here if you came here. Next question. So I've been a baseball player before, and rain delays are kind of killer. So what's your favorite? I don't know if you've had too many rain delays, but what's your favorite like rain delay activity that you've done so far?
Yeah, okay. I actually have a good answer for this. Our go-to at Duke whenever we get in rain delays is playing hangman in the dugout. Um, I don't know why. It's just something we go straight to. You know, get a group of guys together, come up with a hard word to get, and you know, those are good times.
Yeah, respect, man. I mean, you gotta find things to do. So another baseball question. I gotta know, man. What's the best flavor of sunflower seeds that you've ever had?
Um, that's another good one. I'm gonna have to go with the bacon flavored,
Oh,
the
I
like bacon salt. Those are so good.
yeah, those do slap. I gotta give you that. All right, we'll finish off with a simple one. Favorite movie. Doesn't have to be baseball either. It can be anything.
Yeah, this is a good question. I have so many favorites. Let's see. I'm actually a really big fan of The Martian.
That
You
is
know,
oh, that movie is amazing.
I've always been kind of intrigued by space travel and all that, and you know, NASA is something that you know, if baseball hadn't worked out as well as it had, would definitely be something that I wanted to pursue and maybe being an astronaut or something. But just I love that movie.
Have you seen Interstellar, man?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, dude, I watched that for
It's
the
another
first
good
time
one.
last year in my college dorm. It was I love it. But
Yeah.
thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you taking your time out of your day and for this opportunity. It means a lot. I wish you the best going forward. I think big things are ahead. I really like your mindset going into next season. I think it's perfect for, I mean, mentally preparing, just having confidence and being competitive. I respect all those qualities about you, man. Stay safe too. This is a tough time for everyone. So just be careful. And you got anything to say before we sign off?
No, I appreciate you interviewing me, and you know, same to you. Hope everything goes well, and definitely stay safe during the quarantine. And hope baseball's back so people can get playing and also watching again.
Yeah, of course, man. All right. I'll see you, Bryce.
Yep. Take it easy.